KWTN 100.9 FM, Allen, Nebraska, the official radio station of the Winnebago tribe. The official radio station of the Winnebago tribe. The official radio station of the Winnebago tribe.
Yeah, you are listening to 100.9 FM KWTN, the Big Voice Radio. You are listening to an episode of the Big Voice Sports Talk Show. This is your host, Coach Q, and right here on my side,
B-Luv is in the house again.
B-Luv is in the house.
We're back, y'all. We're back, y'all.
Hey, B-Luv, man, I've been missing this, man. How about you?
Yep, for sure.
Hey, man, so, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we've been off the air for a number of weeks, and, you know, we've been kindly asked to come back and let's give some updates on the sports around the way, B-Luv, and so we have a lot of stuff to talk about. Mm-hmm. So, ladies and gentlemen, today, this episode, we're going to talk strictly football. We have a lot of football going on. We are in week number 4 of the All Nations Football League for Winnebago here. And Omaha Nation is part of that league. And then we also have some information on the Walt Hill Blue Jays. And we also got some information on the Asante Warriors up north, trying to cover all the res teams, you know, and let everybody know how everybody's doing.
Yep.
So, but before we get into that, man, it's been a while. There's been a lot of sports go on since we last met here in the studio.
Yeah.
Man, we crowned a new NBA champion, you know, since then.
My team.
Your team, the Boston Celtics.
Oh, yeah. I'm a year off.
Oh, you're a year off.
I honestly forgot who.
Oh, yeah, there you go, B-Luv. That's it. Tell the folks. And we also got another year of a gold medal. Recently got the USA men's team took the gold medal.
Yep.
And I think the women's team took the gold medal.
Got the gold as well. Yep.
And so, yeah, the United States is balling out, you know. Mm-hmm. They did have a tough time, though.
Yeah, the men did.
Yeah, the men did.
The women, even without the GOAT, Caitlin Clark, hate on it.
Yeah, they know who they are, all three of them.
Yeah, all three of them, they know who they are.
But you know, that's just one thing. I think, you know, there's been a lot of baseball going on here on the res. You know, there's been a lot of baseball all season long. I know that we're in the next couple of episodes, we're going to be covering how everybody did during the baseball season. Mm-hmm. I know that the season before we come off a season where about 3 of our teams made the championship game. Yeah. So we'll see and give an update on that too. So school started. We got all the sports going on right now. We got girls golf going on. Mm-hmm. We're going to give updates on that on our next episode. Volleyball started for not only the high school girls, but the junior high girls are going hard. Yep. You just came from an awesome, intense game.
Yeah, it was nice.
And then we also got youth volleyball all the way down to the little girls, like Pee Wee League.
Yep.
So we'll give updates on all those teams, you know, in our next episode too. You know, tonight, like I said, we're going strictly football. And so So yeah, what you been up to then, B-Luv? What kind of sports you been? You been to any good games? You seen any good games on TV or anything lately?
Well, we've been watching college footballs in full swing too, and then our beloved Huskers are off to an amazing start this year. 3-0. We busted the top 25 for the first time since like 2016. We got our standout freshman quarterback that just come in and is just living up to all the hype.
Yes, indeed.
And Huskers are doing good. Defenses look like the defense is back from last year. I mean, last year's defense was really good, and I think they even had all the starters back for this year. So looking good. Huskers looking good.
And I remember talking with you earlier, and you was saying that you was really reading some articles, and I know you've been watching the games real close and stuff like that. So when we get into the Husker football, man, I'm gonna let you go and kind of fill everybody in on it, and then we'll get into that discussion. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so just looking forward to letting the people know what's all going on out there. So we're gonna go with football, okay? We're gonna start with this. First one we'll start with is let's go to the Asante Warriors, okay? Asante Warriors, and I'll get to Winnebago last, and we'll talk about Winnebago's season, and they're just coming off of the week from homecoming, so we'll let everybody know how that's going. But the Asante Warriors, they're a really young team, and let me kind of just read a little bit of information about those guys there. I know that we have some young relatives up there that are playing football, and they got some good athletes up there, dudes that we know from playing basketball. You throw those athletes on a football field, a lot of those guys are just naturals, just natural athletes, So, but just give a couple shout outs, they got a quarterback. His name is starting quarterback's name is Christian Torres. And you got your wide receivers. Keisha Starlin is a Warpath boy. Alan Wabasha, Thomas James, Hepon Thomas, and then Giovanni Jamies is one of their offensive weapons too. And then they got a big dude up there named Isaiah Yellowcloud, which is like their big defensive player that kind of paces everybody on the other side of the ball.
I see.
In especially in high school football, you hear a lot about like good runners here in Nebraska. People that are rushing for over 150 yards a game or something, and then once you get to we start playing in the All Nations League, then you kind of hear a little bit more about our quarterbacks, the native quarterbacks there, because of course in that league you have nothing but native quarterbacks, and so it kind of plays a different one. I think it plays a different role, like when you're thinking about Winnebago football. Used to be a run game, now it can be a pass game, and I think the reason why, this is just me thinking, is playing nine man and having you get the full 100 yards, and then you even get the width.
Yeah.
Like you got a lot more room to work with,
Yep.
A lot more open room.
Sure.
And so
that's what Santee plays, 9-man up there?
No, I was just thinking about All Nations up there.
Okay.
I was just thinking about All Nations.
Oh, okay.
I guess I kind of switched it up a little bit. But Santee, they're off to a slow start. They're 0-3 right now, but their team's real athletic, and the games aren't blowouts. They've been playing close games and stuff.
Well, let me I want to say something about I seen a post on Facebook. It must have been 4 or 5 days ago. One of our own boys, Trav Mallory, he had a post on Facebook, and he was talking about just getting input on what people thought about if Winnebago went back to playing, getting out of the All Nations League and then going back to playing Nebraska teams and stuff like that. And there was just a bunch of people posting on it. A lot of people think, I don't know if the Indians are ready for that, or because Winnebago never really had a winning record for 25 years. I mean, even back when we were in high school, I don't think we only won like 1 to 3 games. A year. Are these kids ready to go back to that? Are they comfortable where they're at, just playing against other Indian schools, native schools? To me, it's like, I look at it on both ways. I was like, you can come in and beat all these Indian teams, native teams, and we keep rephrasing that. I'll beat all the native teams, and then when you come in here and you kind of playing against the I don't know, the white teams, I guess you can say, then, are we going to be taking beatings like we did in the past, or are these kids ready for it? We don't know. We got a $1 million football field out there that should be, getting put to work,
Not only the football field itself, but the weight room back there and behind that crow's nest back there, they were not state of the art, but they got brand new equipment back there.
Yeah.
And it's everything you need back there is there,
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's a good topic to talk about, though. We could actually talk about that right now since we're on that spot right now.
Yeah.
So that All Nations League, I think there's pros and there's cons.
Yeah.
I mean, there's good things about it. There's bad things about it.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of people out there, especially old heads that think, man, they should get back into Nebraska leagues and. But I think this is just information I'm gathering.
Mm-hmm.
So our school at Winnebago, we're a Class C1 school.
Mm-hmm.
The enrollment of the students that we have, we should be playing 11-man football.
Yeah.
But we have a 8-man schedule. We tried 11-man.
Yeah.
Winnebago's not cut out for 11-man football.
Not yet.
Not yet. I mean, we need to build a program first.
Yep.
Before we get in there.
And that's what I was going to say about that All Nations. So the first year that they played in it, Winnebago played in the championship game, I believe they got beat.
Yeah.
And then the next year they made it to the championship game, and I think they ended up winning it. So, and then if you look at it from when they first joined, prior to joining, you wouldn't get that many kids out for football because, maybe some of these kids, they just like, hey, I don't know if I want to go out for football, and just every Friday just getting maybe getting blown out or something like that. But then when they join the All Nations thing, then you're getting more kids playing because they're actually winning. They're winning these games against these other native schools.
Yeah.
So then the next thing I cruised by or stopped and looked at the game, not this past weekend, but the weekend before.
Yeah.
And man, there had to been 40, 50 kids out. Quint's bringing his phone and didn't even turn his ringer off.
Kids.
Unbelievable.
Kids, man.
Can we edit that out?
Yeah. So but I know what you're saying. So a lot of people showing up to the games. There's packed over there too.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of environment we want to bring back here.
Sure.
But I think what you were saying earlier is like if we're playing the Norfolk Catholics and score, we're getting blown out 70-0 and stuff like that. I mean, are we really going to get the fans out there like that?
Yeah.
I don't think we're getting that many fans out there because it happened before and we didn't have fans out there,
Yeah.
And so I see where you're coming with that.
Yeah. So you can go either way with that. Like how certain people think certain ways. So.
And I remember Adam James had a good point too. He was talking about back then when we were getting whooped up on by these Northeast Nebraska teams, by all these farmer towns and stuff like that with these big boys and stuff. We was getting beat and stuff like that. Winnebago's football players weren't getting no looks from no colleges or anything like that,
Oh, yeah.
And so, but then once we got into that league up there, then the places that we played, some of our kids got looked at, and they got an opportunity to go out and play some college football at the next level.
And then one name we can bring up is the Vargas boy. I don't know if he's still playing or not, if he's still going to school.
Destin, quarterback.
Yeah. It was that 2 years ago or last year?
Yeah, it's like 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah, and then I don't know if he's still hanging in there or not, but then, that prime example, I mean, that's a name that we can throw out there.
Good example, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think even Bernie, Zayden Bernie, I think he went to go play quarterback somewhere, Minnesota Morris or something like that. I mean, and like I said, like you said, I'm not sure if he's still going or not, but that opportunity,
the opportunity was
there.
Yeah. Well, I know Z. He was on my softball team this past summer, and he actually was my runner. So I got on base every time, and then I didn't have to do nothing. Just let him run.
He's a quick guy. He can run.
Yeah, so we let him go. So I really love that rule too. Big shout out to Floyd Complex there by throwing that rule in this here for us old heads.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so excuse me. So just getting done talking about that about the league up there, the All Nations League. I think maybe a couple more years, and you know what? Like I said, then you kind of went back to what you was talking about before. But I was saying you got to build a program first. Like right now, Winnebago's boys and girls basketball teams, they're building programs. They're starting down here when these kids are in pee-wee leagues, and they're staying with them all the way up, and they're working with them in the off season and stuff like that all the way up. So Winnebago's basketball programs, they're going to be set for a few years down the road as long as they keep on doing the same thing, you know.
Sure.
But to get that same interest and that same passion for football is what we need to do first, and then it could be there.
Yeah, and you can see it happening too, because they got Pee-wee football going on this year. I mean, that's going on, and I see they have a lot of kids down there. I can see like some of my buddies' snaps and stuff that they're down there, and a bunch of kids. And then there's a bunch of boys down there too. Yeah, so it's coming along.
Then there's other opportunities. So when I was talking about the basketball, when it's kind of like an all year round thing now. Because there's places to do that all year round.
Yeah.
But there's starting to be some places where football is going to be played all year round too. Because even though it's not tackle football, I don't think it should be tackle football throughout the calendar year anyway. I mean, it's too much hard contact, you know. But they have these 7-on-7 leagues. They're indoor and outdoor leagues, and it's flag football, but it's the same. You're doing the same practices. You're learning like all the new age, you know, fundamental kind of stuff, you know, drills and stuff like that. So I mean, we maybe have to, you know, maybe that's something that we need to do here.
Look into
anyway. Get our kids involved in that stuff.
Sure.
So any guys out there that are listening and you're thinking about ways of becoming better in football, not just as an individual but as a team. And you know, maybe some of you coaches need to kind of get these guys together to maybe get in some of these leagues in the off season, because off season work, it's always the best thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Off season work, no matter what sport it is, you know.
Yep.
So anyway, so we were talking about Santee, and I think we can go ahead and move on to Walt Hill.
Walt Hill. And Walt Hill plays 6-man.
Yeah, they're 6-man. I think they're class D2 here in Nebraska, and they do play 6-man. And I remember, I'm gonna give a shout out to Walt Hill, their football squad. In just the recent past, I know that you know, Winnebago hasn't been to the state playoffs since 1986. 1986. Yep. 1986. And then I'm not sure like about Omaha Nation if they ever made the football playoffs in the state, but I do know that Walt Hill recently made it to the state playoffs maybe about 2 or 3 times, like in the past decade. And so they were coming off, you know, some really good athletes down there.
Yeah.
And they play 6-man, but they made a run at the state title a couple of years, and that was just a few years back. So, you know, shout out to Walt Hill's football squad.
I actually wonder how many total schools that play 6-man, how many total, you know. So I mean, like Walt Hill made the run out there, but how many schools total play 6-man? You know, that's what I'm saying. How many D2 schools? You know, I mean, that'd be something to. Oh, you pulled his phone on. Make sure your ringer's off there, bro.
Yeah, I did. Oh, but yeah, so go ahead and talk a little bit about 6-man. Have you ever watched a 6-man football game?
From what I heard, bro, I mean, I think isn't it like everybody's eligible or something like that? You know, you only got like 3 people on the line and everybody's eligible, maybe except for the center or something like that. I think that if you did something like that, a lot of the playbook, there has to be a lot of trick plays in 6-man football, because you play on what, an 80-yard field. I mean, like I said, I don't really know too much about it.
I think I've watched a couple of games that during Walt Hill's run, and it's a short field.
Yeah.
It's like an 80-yard field, and they even kind of like narrow it down just a little bit, not too much.
Regardless, that's a lot of running, man.
Yeah. So ask Google.
Okay.
So how many 6-man teams there are in the state of Nebraska? There's 32.
32
teams.
32 schools.
32 schools.
Okay.
that play 6-man football.
Man, those got to be just like little bitty small towns all sprinkled around everywhere in it.
Yeah, but just think, some of those towns, they're just like straight farmer towns.
Yeah.
And just think how big some of those boys are.
See, man, that's just crazy. I mean, like I said, when it comes to the in-state recruiting for the Huskers, we got to get back out to western Nebraska. Get some of them big boys that can load
bales.
Bales, yeah. Haul bales around on their back with themselves and stuff. I see the video on TikTok. One of these boys out there pulled one of the big round ones.
I
Did
saw
you see
it
it?
too.
He took it off the back of that truck and he hauled and started walking. Why? I mean, why?
Yeah,
but that's what you need. You need some big old linemen like that.
Put him on the line.
Yeah, old linemen, put him on there.
Yeah, so the update on Wall Hill's football squad this year is that they are 0-2. They've lost, are 0-3. They lost 3 games, close games too. And I talked to coach a little bit, and he was like, he's like, don't get me wrong. He said that those 0-3 record isn't really what it seems. He said his boys, he's got 9 guys out. Okay,
Total of 9 guys.
he's got 9 guys out.
Wow.
So he said it's not the heart, it's not the dedication and the hard work. It's not that. It's the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Because he said his boys are some of the hardest working kids that he's ever seen played on Wall Hill, but there's only 9 of them.
Yeah.
So I got to commend those 9 boys.
Yeah.
Heck
yeah.
I mean, that's like you have more fingers than players. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so got to commend those boys, and then commend the coaches for sticking with it. And you got a long season, man.
Yeah. And then those boys are playing both ways, running constantly on both ways, and it's just defense, offense. Man, I can't even think of that. I'd like to get down there and go watch one. The next home game they get, I'm going to sneak down there.
Okay. Hey, coach, if you're listening,
Who's coaching down there?
let's see here. The coach, I got you on. But coach, my brother, he wants some free tickets in the game.
Yeah, in other words, like that. Well, if it's 6-man football, there should be half off since there's only half a team.
Yeah.
Get in for $3.
Yeah, I've been messaging a lot of people I know in these communities here. Mike Anderson. Yeah, Mike Anderson is the new coach down at Wall Hill.
Oh, he's a new guy?
Yeah, so he's the new AD too, sounds like. So
okay.
Shout out to the coach there. And yeah, he talked highly of the boys, man. So
That's what's up.
yeah, if you boys are listening to this show tonight, man, you guys keep on giving it to them, man.
Yep.
Don't give up, and stretch out before the game, because with 9 people we can't afford no injuries, man. So
pickle juice and bananas when you guys cramping up. So, but all this can do is toughen you guys up for basketball season too. So just stay on it. Stay on it. Run hard.
Yeah.
Work hard.
Have your teammates' backs too, all the way.
That's right.
All right, man. All right, Wall Hill. The Blue Jays, bro, with no E.
Mm-hmm.
Remember you played some ball down there before?
Back then, Rainbows was black and white. So
It's been a while. Yeah, I remember during junior high, because we went to school down there when I was in 8th grade and he was in 9th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was really excited for basketball season to start, man, and we had a pretty good squad coming up. And then I saw our uniforms. Bruh, those things, like, those are they were just like how the boxers are now, like the boxer briefs, like the Fruit Looms and stuff like that. I mean, they were tight like that. Like, they literally were that tight.
Hey, all you listeners out there, you got to give Quince a little props here. When Quince was in 8th grade, we lived in Wall Hill, and he had this. Back then, it was Sports Illustrated was the magazine we had, and he had talked my dad into getting a clip out of the Sports Illustrated book, and it was called a sky jump program. And all it was an exercise, 4 exercises that he spent $10 getting. He only supposed to do it 1 time a day for a half hour or something like that. 4 exercises, all it took. Quince did it in the morning before he went to school. Then he finally would shower, go to school, practice, do all that. Then when he got after supper, then he would do it again. So when he was in 8th grade, you guys might not believe me, but when he was in 8th grade, he was taking the junior high ball, jumping from the dotted line, doing a 360 and dunking a basketball as a 13-year-old 8th grader. So give him props.
B-Luv.
You can't tell now because he looks like Gus Macker trophy now. But
B-Luv, bro, that's the first time like in 52 years that you gave me props, man.
wow, did you see how I kind of threw that little at the end?
Yeah, you got it. I heard Gus Macker. That's all I heard.
For those of you guys that don't know what the Gus Macker trophy is, look it up. That's Quince.
Well, anyway, before all the jokes started, man. Anyway, so Omaha Nation, was that it? Talking about Omaha Nation, right?
Yeah, we didn't do that yet.
Okay, now we're getting to Omaha Nation, and I had one of the parents kind of send me some info about Omaha Nation, but I've kind of been following their football and their volleyball a little bit, just getting to some specifics. Omaha Nation right now is 3-0.
Nice.
They're 3-0, and they're one of the top teams in their side of the All Nations.
Yeah, they're
football
part of the
league.
All Nations. Yep.
So they're 3-0. They had games against Siston, the Teospazina. They had a game against Marty, and then they also played Flandreau. And so I think two of those were home games, and I think the Flandreau game was an away game. Mm-hmm. And so Omaha Nation's at a 3-0 mark right now, and
that's good.
They're doing pretty good.
I got one of my buddies. His name's Lamar Bertucci Jr. down there in not Omaha Nation. I guess he's got a boy down there that's been pretty good throughout these couple of years.
Yeah,
I see his snaps and I see him on Facebook, and Lamar's always supporting his boy, and then I seen a couple of videos too. He kind of looks like a little animal when he's playing, little solid
stocky guy.
Yeah, little solid guy. Yeah.
So just kind of like seeing, I'm so glad that there's social media nowadays, because I remember being at one football game and then watching another football game on my phone. So I was watching, and like, think about it, back in the day, man, if we had that technology back in the day, if those guys met up with those aliens earlier and got the idea of that,
Hey, that's just the same thing. There's pros and cons about that. I'm glad we didn't have
on
the outside
the sports thing was pretty cool. That could have been cool clips, but anything outside of that,
anything outside of that, I'm glad we didn't have
just
that.
Put my phone away.
We'll go ahead and keep a lid on that.
Yeah. So Omaha Nation, bro. I'm, looking at the post and watching like the snaps that you saw or that your buddy sent out, and seeing the pictures and seeing the short videos and stuff, and other people's posts about this, about that.
Yeah.
It really makes you want to go to these games, right? So we got to try to get to one of these games on these Friday nights, because I think these guys all play on Friday nights.
They play on Friday nights, because I thought
Winnebago plays mostly on Thursday nights.
Thursday afternoon, almost.
But Wall Hill still plays the Nebraska State schedule, and so does Santee. So their game's still under the lights on Friday night.
Is okay.
But maybe we can head up to Santee on a Friday night.
Friday day and go golfing.
No, Friday night, and then we'll stay overnight. Have Waylon get us a room.
Dave Henry got me.
Dave get a room, get some golfing up there.
That's right.
All right, we'll work on it.
We'll work on that.
All right.
Dave, holla at your boy.
All right. So but anyway, so let's go ahead and move on into some. I forgot. So Omaha Nation, it's their homecoming this week, so they have a game tomorrow at 3:00.
Okay.
And it's a homecoming game.
Tomorrow. Oh, what's today?
Thursday, dude. Oh. Wait. I think Friday.
The
game's Friday.
We're getting kind of.
I know, it's like messed up. So Friday.
Okay.
The homecoming game is Friday, so it's homecoming week down there right now. They're celebrating all week long, and I see they had a old school, like a 1980s theme too, like Winnebago did.
Oh,
too.
Did they?
Yeah. So you know how the Rezes do 1980s, man.
Yeah.
So, but we're gonna get into that.
We got a bunch of the boys. I was talking about Lamar and all these guys. Those guys be doing drag queen shows probably down there watching.
You watch?
Yeah. Hey, send those videos. Go live when you guys do that, bro.
All right, so let's go ahead and get on. Oh yeah, look at this. Omaha Nation's right there. She pulled it up. So on Monday it was the woohoo. It's the 80s. You see that, B-Luv?
Can you make that bigger?
Oh yeah. B-Luv ain't got his glasses. He ain't got his choker glasses on right now. Bethany's got to zoom in 200% for B-Luv.
I got it. Oh, there it is.
All right. So what's Tuesday?
Now I can see it.
Twisted Tuesday, right? Twisted Tuesday. This is a flashback to the 60s.
You guys leave those T's alone. That don't mean Twisted T's.
No, huh? Way back Wednesdays. Where are they going there? Disco in the 70s. 70s, man. That's some afros, some disco stuff, you know?
Yep. Butterfly collars and elephant ankle. What are those big old fancy guys?
The bell bottoms.
Yeah, but the elephant bottoms or whatever they used to be. They're really big. Yeah. Polyesters.
Oh, the what do you call those platform shoes with the
fish bowls?
Fish bowls, yeah. All right, and then Throwback Thursday. It's back to the 90s. Oh, yeah.
Let us know if you need some help with that down
man,
there.
hey, I might even just go hang out down here Thursday. Hey, man, that's just the way I dress anyway. So just rolling.
Same.
All right, so, and then the last one on Friday, it's going to be a good one, man. It's a Fantastic Friday. Well, it's the 2000s, and so it says at Omaha Nation Public School, and denim is back, so they're gonna get people wearing everything denim that day.
I like that setup, man. Whoever thought about that down there on your school board or your school, man, that's pretty cool. I like that.
Usually, like the student council will come up with homecoming stuff, so that might be student councils right there, bro.
That's what's up.
So shout out to you guys, man, for that. For those days, man, because that looks fun. Mm-hmm. I think the whole school would get involved in that one.
Yup.
All right, so let's get into it. Let's get into it. Winnebago.
We might as well stay on the homecoming topic since we just started with Winnebago.
Okay. Well, real fast, we'll just talk about those first
couple games. Okay, go ahead.
And then we don't have to talk too much about it. I know that the first game that Winnebago played was they traveled all the way up to Cheyenne Eagle Butte. And they played those guys up there, and I believe it was a pretty. Winnebago handled it. I think
they
it was
handled it.
Yeah, it was right there.
Quick word.
So they Cheyenne Eagle Butte. It was 44-0. So they handled them pretty good.
Nail biter.
Yeah, and then I think Winnebago traveled to Cheyenne Eagle Butte last year too at the first game.
Maybe, yeah.
So they had that's a long drive, bro.
6 hours.
Did you hoop up there before?
Yeah, I first met my boy Travis and Tanner Albers up there. I watched him play a high school basketball game up there. Never even knew who they were. I met them after that, but then I remember watching them play. I didn't know who they were, but yeah, they could hoop back then too.
You got to see them when they were in high school?
Yeah, up there. At the time I was working at BIA, so I went up there for training for that week. And then just was bored and I had nothing to do up there, so I was bored. So I seen the high school team was playing one of them evenings, so I walked from a hotel room, made my way down there, and went checked it out, and packed out just like how it was back in 2015 for us. Those guys were bad. Tanner, Trav, Albers, bad boys, man.
Legends, man. Legends. Yep. You know, I'm gonna tell you, man. I was just talking about this earlier today. Is like, you know, one thing I like to do on the sports show is bring up those names. You know, legends names, living legends, and legends that passed on. So, you know, big shout out to the Albers brothers, but for hooping and stuff. So, anyway, the second game come out. They played Pine Ridge. And the Pine Ridge game was a closer game, and it was a home game. Winnebago come out on top, 40-34. They beat them by 6 points. And if you remember last year, when we played against Pine Ridge, the second game of the season, we were up in Pine Ridge. We had the lead late in the game, and we gave it up.
Oh, really?
We gave it up. We fumbled the ball, lost the ball, and then they ran one back. We scored and went up, but they took a couple plays, they scored, gave us the ball back, and we were marching down, then we lost. We didn't have enough time. If we had maybe about another minute, we could have had a chance, but you know, time ran out, and Winnebago lost that game, so they got them back this year. It was a close game last year, it's a close game this year.
And ever since we got Pine Ridge on a schedule for basketball and football, it seemed like we're always going back and forth with those guys.
Yeah.
You know, so it makes it for fun games to watch when he do stuff like that. You know, it was a fun game back in 17 when he was up there for L&I, and yeah, that wasn't really that fun to watch. It was fun because we blew everybody out, but I thought, you know, knowing all the hoopers up there our age that could play back then, you know, and then they you know, luckily we had Windsor Bros, Dave, and you know, the boys up there, you know, then maybe they were on a little down part of their, you know, I mean, like, you know, their rebuilding years or something like that, but yeah, that was the only game that wasn't, those 2 years weren't real competitive.
Well, I think about it, like legends happen from time to time. It's not like Winnebago always won't have a legend every year or something like that. Yeah. Shit, those guys got to prove themselves.
Well, remember back in our day too, even a little bit before, they had a legend up there from Pine Ridge, Willie White.
Willie White.
Yep, and then Sue Ann Big Crow.
Yep.
You know, they had some legends up there that was our age, you know, so, you know, like we said, we usually kind of bring these names up once in a while, these old names, you know, so some of these younger listeners, they can look it up, you know, you guys, who's that Buff Quinn's talking about? Look it up.
Yeah. And then seeing those guys play before, like, that's just a whole different experience, you know, because I remember watching Willie White play it in a tournament up in Aberdeen.
Yeah.
Man.
Hoop counters.
Dude, man.
He could hoop.
Dude, he played just like Mike, dude. He's like a native Mike. Seemed like he could jump out of the gym, shoot out of the gym.
Yeah,
man, smooth.
That's a little far fetched, but he was pretty good.
Yeah.
No, I understand. But
But Sue Ann too, before her time was done, that girl can hoop, man. She was just like back then, man. I guess like how Shoni Shimmer used to play, man.
Yeah.
Like just a creator, shooter, passer, defender, man, all the way around,
Yep. Well, getting off football subject here, but we could always talk basketball all the time forever.
So then we look up at the thing. So we get to homecoming week. That's where we're at right now.
Yep.
Homecoming week. So Winnebago went through the entire homecoming week, man, and it was a blast, man. I sent my kids to school.
Happy Gilmore up.
Yeah, Happy Gilmore up. I had some Boston Bruins gear on, stuff like that, like you wore in Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a fun time, and we even had the parade, and then they had the coronation of the new king and queen and everything like that. So,
but unfortunately,
on the night of the football game, which is the highlight of the homecoming week, we weren't able to watch our beloved Winnebago Indians play football.
Yeah. The other school had some issues going on with their football players that got in trouble, so they canceled the game on us. So
they were in Sioux City, got in trouble, and had to turn around and go back.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Really? So they were here with it. Wow.
So they had to turn around and go back, and they probably have to. I don't know how their season's going to end, but for Winnebago though, who we're worried about right now, Winnebago, got the W. So they're 3-0, but I know that a lot of the players and the fans and the parents and everybody was still. They were all upset because their babies didn't get to play. Yeah. We hyped it up all week long. Yeah. And I never even heard of that happening before. Not playing your homecoming game, Yeah. I mean, for whatever reason.
In reality, it had to have been the whole team on the upside. Otherwise, back in the day, if you messed up, the person who messed up couldn't play.
Yeah.
But then, it seemed like they punish the whole team for. That's what I said. I don't know what's going to happen or what happened if it was everybody on that team. So that's their problems they got to address. So something they can take care of.
Yeah, I hope they.
Not just too bad.
I hope they can take care of.
And that thing. Remember, I was talking about that post that Trav posted about playing the Nebraska teams and like the white teams, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
That's kind of what triggered Trav's post, was because he was upset about that too, kind of thinking, our guys were all ready to play, and then that happened. So now our homecoming, especially the seniors, you think their seniors going to be their last homecoming game, they can do this and that, and more memories, but they got a memory, but it's not a memory that
this is the memory that they got.
Yeah, the seniors are like, come on.
Yeah.
That's so I can, like I said, pros and cons with that post that Trav had.
And really, man, and with social media, it's fair game to throw your opinion out there no matter what it is. Like I think I look at it at both angles too, so I don't try to take a side.
Yeah.
So
that's
try to be neutral.
Yeah, that's fine.
So anyway, so the listeners and the viewers, they got a lot of pictures up on the screen right now of homecoming, and everybody got involved. I mean, even nothing was going to stop the Winnebago community from trying to outdo last year's homecoming parade, And the kids, it just seems great that everybody gets involved, and a lot of the parents, been shelling out money for their kids to kind of fix their floats up, get candy, and do all the things about homecoming, getting their gear ready for the dance and all that.
Have you gone to a homecoming pep rally lately?
No, I
like when the cheerleaders get together. They remember how back in the day we used to do little games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Have you never went to one lately? I haven't.
No. As a matter of fact, I didn't even see any pictures on that one. Really? But I'm kind of thinking. Remember, we didn't do a parade.
No.
Back in the day, so I'm kind of thinking that maybe this parade took the
took that pepper out and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, the only reason why I was leading up to is because remember some of the games that we had to do.
Oh yeah.
If they could bring some of those back, I wonder if they would be. If you could say, hey, we're gonna try to do this, because these kids are all getting involved in this. I wonder if they are they too cool to try that? But the one game that stands out, remember that dumb chubby bunny game where you stuff those big marshmallows in your mouth one at a time? You gotta say chubby bunny.
Yeah, and once you can't say chubby bunny no more, then you're done.
Yeah, man, that was crazy. That one.
There's a classic one too. When you get in line, it's a relay. You gotta run up and grab the baseball bat and spin around it 10 times and run back.
Yeah,
man, that one used to get people and knock them over on their run. So I remember old school legend Connie Getman wiped out in front of the entire student body that one time, and everybody didn't know what each other to help her out. Everybody started laughing.
Well, remember she was kind of mean to everybody. Rest in peace, Connie G. But
Connie G.
Yeah, that was something else. I think I remember that one.
Yeah, homecoming is always a good time, man. Always a good time. Yeah, no, I'm kind of not disappointed, just kind of like sad that the kids can't make those memories too.
Yeah.
Oh, there's DJ Guaranteed.
Where? Oh, sitting in the back.
Right in the back, eating that sucker.
Ooh.
There's Kev right there, putting up the deuces. He didn't have no camera. You better not pay him for that either. Well, yeah, there's a lot of good picks up there, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to look back at them, just click the rewind button and go back a little bit. Yeah, so homecoming games. So one stands out for me, a homecoming game back in the day. I believe it was back in 1989. Homecoming. Winnebago played against Wynot. Remember that one?
Yeah.
I remember I was the tailback that year, and I remember before we was in the locker room before the game, and coach, all right guys, we're gonna change some things up today. And everybody's like, what? He's like, Quince, you're taking the wheel. You're running quarterback tonight, like that. And everybody looked at me like that, and I was like, well, all right, I'll do it. And so I got to play quarterback for homecoming that night. Oh my God.
Go ahead,
B-Luv.
You're leading up to the story.
I'm leading up to a story?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I remember during the second half one time, and we was really doing good too. And Wynot had a pretty solid team. There's pretty big boys, big farmer boys like we was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ran a play, and we was on the opposite side of the field, and it was a broken play too. And I almost got tackled. I had to scramble off to one side, went all the way over to the left-hand sideline, and a couple big guys almost hit me, and I eluded them, and then I cocked the ball back and launched that sucker, and it was up in the air. And I think Mark Casey said it was up in the air for
65 yards.
65-yard pass, and then my brother right here, B-Luv, was in the end zone waiting for the football all by himself.
4 guys hanging on me.
No, there wasn't. There was like 4 guys that were chasing you down. They was probably at the 20 while you was in the end zone. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, he put his hands out, and it was perfect pass right to his numbers, and it hit him in the wrong place. The hands. The stone hands. He had 10 thumbs on him that day. And yeah, he dropped that pass.
Folks, let me add a little bit to that. So he did throw it. It was deep. I was standing in the back of the end zone. I had to stop, and it came right to me. Hands out, hit me right in the numbers, literally, and it shot straight through my arms and hit the ground right in front of me. I never show emotion, but oh man, I was upset with myself. 65-yard pass, and my dad shaking his head, walking out of the stadium. Yeah. But so this is homecoming. This is my senior year. So we were warming up before that.
Yeah, let's tell that story.
See, listen here, I got suckered. So we're warming up. I told the quarterback at the time before they switched it up to Quint was one of my buddies, Wally Earth. He was quarterback, and so we were just getting done. We get ready to do the starting lineup and stuff. So I told Wally, we ran a play. I said, I'm gonna run right to the bench. I said, lay one out there for me. I'm going to run and catch it. So he said, all right. So we ran that little play. I ran down there. He threw it up there. I turned my head, and I was really running. I was looking at it, looking at the ball.
Full speed.
And I was 172 pounds back then, so I was full speed running, looking at the ball, the guy on the other team was doing the same thing.
Same exact thing.
And he was looking at the ball. We went right at the 40-yard line, just ran smack dab into each other and dropped each other and knocked all the wind I thought I owned just out of my stomach and went lungs. The other kid, we both dropped each other. The other kid was on the ground, couldn't breathe, grunting, had to jump up quick and try to play it off. Went, sat down. I think that cost me the homecoming king that year.
Yeah, I think it did.
It was horrible. I got runner up, so I don't want to talk about it no more. So we're gonna switch things up here a little bit.
Let's talk basketball now.
Let's get to those Huskers before we end up running out of time.
No, how much time we got here?
We got like 10 minutes.
Oh, okay. Let's get there. 15. All right, let's get there.
Oh, 15 minutes.
Okay. So anyway, Winnebago football, they're back in action again. What is it? So on this coming Thursday, I believe. So I'll give the details on that here in a little bit. They play. Is that the 20th? They play Red Cloud Indian School at Red Cloud. It looks like. So that's a 2 p.m. game on Friday the 20th, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure if you're following Winnebago football, that Red Cloud, I believe that's up in Rosebud Res. So make sure you guys make that trip up there. And if you can't make the trip, I believe the school will post a link to the online link to watch the game from your phones or from your TVs.
There you go. Otherwise, check on Oyate Means. She goes up there every weekend, up to Rosebud Res every weekend.
From Thursday through Monday?
Yeah, Thursday through Monday. She's up there constantly.
Yeah. Then Winnebago is going to be the week after that. So we played against Todd County, and Todd County is the defending champs, and so we have the defending champs on our schedule, and it looks like that game might be a home game.
5:30 looks like.
5:30. So 26th against Todd County. We got to bring the community out.
Yep.
And get everybody out there.
Yep.
Football fans, all y'all.
Bring your fireworks.
All right, so so let's talk about the Huskers, bro. Let's talk about the Huskers.
Let's go.
So this is like the first year, bro, and you know what, that I'm kind of like holding on to the Husker flag and kind of rooting for them and trying to watch all the games and stuff like that. You know, in the past 15 years, I'd be a fan for like the first 2 games. Shoot, a couple of those seasons, it was like not even the first 2 games, man.
You talked a lot ahead for past 10, 15 years. You was on Boise State, and it was tough.
I still like Boise State, though.
I like their field. That's about it. So.
Yeah. So, but the Huskers, dude, like all the hype last year when they found out they was getting this new quarterback.
Yep.
And like the hype was like just, you remember it just felt like, oh man, like for real, are we getting a quarterback? And for real, is this guy really that good?
Yeah.
So then, but the hype, and then just, you know, being Husker fans, I know you felt this is like, this might be the guy.
Yeah.
Every time we get a new guy.
Yeah. Well, see, then when they told us that, okay, we might get this guy, and then everybody's all talking about, okay, he's gonna come. He's come. His dad was here. His uncle's the D coach or whatever coach he's doing. So we're all like, all right, let's get this kid. Let's get this. And we're all fired up. And then we seen that he ended up said he's gonna go to Georgia and play in quarterback and then go with Georgia. So it was like we all went, all the wind was let out of our sails.
Yeah.
And it was like, dang. And then he ended up coming back and said no, he dropped that Georgia and he's come back and committed to Nebraska. So, and I'm one of those guys with the portal and all that stuff going on. I'm one of those guys, I ain't gonna believe it until I see it, until he's actually here.
Yeah.
And with all the hype building up with him, he's the #1 quarterback in the nation. He's probably the top 2 from that whatever thing website 24/7 sports 24/7 whatever. He's like the #1 quarterback in the nation, 5-star, this, that, whatever. He's like the quarterback, but he's like top 3 in the nation as a football player. As soon as he committed to Nebraska, now he's the #3 quarterback, and he's no top 10 in player, you know. So it's like, come on, man, you guys are just talking him up when he's going to go to Georgia, and then as soon as he comes to Nebraska to help us out, then now he's not as good as, you know. But I'm telling you what, we got ourselves a football player. He's tough.
Yeah, I totally agree. He's not. You could tell already just 3 games in, bro, that he's not like any other quarterback that Nebraska had. in the past 20 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you think back to those quarterbacks. I mean, that Nebraska gone through. I mean, we've had seasons in Nebraska where I can't remember who the quarterback was.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you think back to the last 20 years, like go all the way back to like Tommy Frazier and those guys. You know,
Eric Crouch.
Yeah, Eric Crouch, and all those big name quarterbacks from back in the day. You know.
Yeah.
And then you get now we got this guy, Raiola.
Yep.
And everybody before him, you know, they did their due diligence, but
Sure.
but they weren't 5-star quarterbacks, and it showed.
Yeah.
You know, and Nebraska's not used to being known as a school for quarterbacks. You know, I mean, since back in the day, and then usually back then it wasn't because of their passing.
Yeah.
It was because of their running.
Yeah.
You know, so now we got a kid that can do both, and he actually reminds me of Eric Crouch. He's not as fast as him, but he reminds me of him because of how smart he is. You know, going from a decision from like, I'm going to pass to I'm going to run. He happens real quick.
Eric Crouch, to put him in Crouch's category is, you know, he's a better passer than Crouch is.
Yeah.
He's not a better runner than Crouch, but he's only 3 games in. He's only 18 years old. You know, so we still got a couple years to see. But what he's all bringing comparison is to Patrick Mahomes. And just the way he plays and how he throws sidearms and does it. But even his looks, he looks like Mahomes. You know, the same hair, same everything, but his move, the way he plays, it just looks like Mahomes. Mahomes-esque.
Yeah, you think about it too, like all the athletes and all the sports. I mean, they got these guys that they're watching coming up, you know, and Raiola's probably been watching Mahomes play as he's growing up as a kid, because Mahomes is what, 7 years in or something like that, 7-8 years in. So like he's already put some time in, you know.
Yeah.
And so he's kind of had a lot of years to already to kind of follow him and watch how he plays and practice like that.
And it goes back to him being a good quarterback. Is like the offensive line is playing really good this far, and we actually got, you know, I think we got a couple that came in on the portal, or we got some that some new guys that are on there, but they can actually protect the quarterback, you know, so he's not running for his life like quarterbacks in the past, you know.
Yeah.
For instance, just Martinez, the one that we just had a couple years ago that transferred to Kansas State, he got a lot of records. He was a good quarterback. He wasn't in his comfort zone because he's running from his life all the time. You know? So if we had an offensive line to protect him,
we might have did something.
Yeah. So, but then and then on top of that, you know, this new coach, Matt Rule, he just, you know, in the past with Rice and Baylor, you know, he turned these schools around within 3 years.
Yeah.
You know, so we're on year 2 and it's already looking good. You know, the Huskers are going, so he's going to turn the program around, and he's a heck of a recruiter, and he's getting all these other names and big name guys coming in, and, you know, getting some good recruits. So it's like he's still working it, even before the season and everything like that, and he's still working it, bringing people in from 2025 and 2026 on people that are sophomore and juniors in high school. He's still on them, you know. So we got more quarterbacks coming in will come in battle for that.
Yeah.
But, you know, Raiola's tough though. He's here to stay.
Yeah, and I heard that the coach for Nebraska right now, Matt Rule, that he's got a pretty decent relationship with Dr. Osborne down there too. I hear that they talk all the time down there, and you know, that's what better experience, Nebraska Husker experience, that you can get by talking with that guy, you know.
Yep.
And then he's trying to bring some of that same culture back. And dude, I after that Colorado game, I'm like, wow, like Nebraska really has a chance, you know. And so you were talking about the offensive line. We talked about that before.
Yeah.
And you were saying, yeah, man, they got some new guys, and you said that we picked some guys up on a portal. But man, when they played against Colorado, it just seemed like Nebraska's offensive linemen were just being bullies, dude.
Yeah.
They were being bullies. It was like every play was 8 or 10 yards a carry, you know.
Yeah.
And it seemed like in the first half that the Huskers got the Colorado team's defensive line tired in the first half.
Oh, for sure.
They were on their heels most of the game, you know.
Well, it goes back to the hype with Colorado, with Coach Prime and his boys yapping at the coin toss, saying stuff to our captains at the coin toss. He's already talking to them, saying stuff. So they go back even more hyped after that, going just to the coin toss. And then that guy was running for his life. I can't believe you on that phone right now. Everybody, Quince's phone went off again. His wife checking on him, hollering at him, "Where you at? How come you ain't at home? How come them dishes ain't done?"
This guy right here, man, he's the funniest guy I know.
Well, anyway, see, it made me lose my train of thought, that damn phone.
Now you're talking about Nebraska and the coach over there. Yeah, we got some video playing up there too from the last game right there against UNI.
I was saying about Prime and his boy. Yeah, all the hype just came up extra because of all the talking. Even that Sanders boy, the quarterback, even the next game, he didn't. At the end of the game, they won, and he didn't even go and shake the other quarterback's hand at the end of the game. He was in his ear talking.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah, so I'm just like, this kid losing his stock. He thinks he's going to be a good NFL player.
So then Nebraska got all kind of weapons.
Mm-hmm.
They got all kind of weapons. I mean, you get a quarterback like Rayola. I mean, your wide receivers are all going to be weapons.
Yep.
You know, and I've seen him. He probably got passes off to maybe about 5 or 6 different receivers throughout the game. I'm just not seeing him get one down. I think they make it all the way down to the 10-yard line on this one here. But yeah, he has so many weapons. You know, and even their running backs, they run those I'm just gonna say run the reverses, and this one comes up too. The running backs and the wide receivers, they do the Nebraska reverses. They did like 2 or 3 times, and they're running different, not of the I formation like back in the day, but they do it different. But they still run that reverse. You know,
that's that new style of play. You know, that Matt Rule brings in, because he coached in the NFL too. But you gotta like even before who they try to bring the coach in, I forget his name, but then he tried to implement the West Coast offense in. I forget his name.
Solich.
So yeah, he tried to. Was it Solich or was it one afterwards? Who's after it? I can't remember. It was Solich. But anyway, they try to implement the West Coast offense because Huskers are still doing their I formation and trying to do the options, and then running each way and flick the ball back and stuff like that. You can't do that no more because the defense is just too fast. Yeah. So that's why he tried to come in and implement that. So I think now that Matt Rule's getting his weapons in, and then he can start doing this other kind of stuff. This is only year 2. Wait until he gets all his recruits in. Yeah, right, dude. And then they recruit him to do certain things in that offense that he's going to put. It's going to be something else. I mean, we're already good. I mean, it's nice. We'll see what happens here this Friday.
Yeah. So hey, I'm going to talk about this one real fast, like too. And I know we don't really talk about like cash or anything like that on this radio station, but we do talk about fun games, right?
Yeah.
So you had this fun game this past, or you have one every Husker game.
My office pools.
Your office pools. Yeah. And so this past weekend, man, I got pretty lucky, bro. I got pretty lucky.
You did.
And I know that some people might have been thinking rigged, but if they looked at that board, they would probably thought I was crazy doing it.
Well, and the same thing. I do you picked. It's how you put your name on the board. A lot of times I just call and let people know and say, hey, you guys want in on this game? And I got regulars that get in every week, and you're one of them. But a lot of the ones, they just say, give me 4 randoms. Give me 4 randoms. Give me 8 randoms. Whatever. Just put my name anywhere, spread them around, wherever. So I would do that. But every time I get a hold of you, then you just put them in a line. We randomly pull numbers. You take a chance on one number. That's what it is. You take a chance on one number. That first game against UTEP, you got the 7 that UTEP had, and UTEP was stuck on 7 for the whole game. So their number was perfect for you. Yeah. But all the Nebraska numbers didn't line up for you. So you didn't win none.
No, I was thinking on that, getting that, and then the one this past weekend, I had a 40% chance on winning at least one quarter for every quarter. Yeah. But then that first week I didn't.
Yeah, the first one, because you, like I said, you landed on 7, and then they were stuck on 7. Then on this last one, Northern Iowa game, a 3 came out on theirs, and then they were stuck on 3. They kicked the field goal in the first quarter, and then that was the rest of it for the rest of the game. And then, lo and behold, your numbers came through on 3 of the 4 quarters, and it would have been all of them if the Huskers didn't score in the end, in the end of the fourth quarter. So people can call it rigged. I mean, they just do that just to get try to get that tease around. But there's no way in heck that you could rig those. Yeah, it's just crazy.
Yeah. Well, hey man, B-Luv, I miss being in the studio, man, and so I just want to say thanks for coming back up here, joining in with me, doing this thing. I know you have fun doing it, and we definitely got to talk about the Huskers and talk about some Winnebago football. And I'm really looking forward to All-American Jared Doxey is the leader, and he's going to be hopefully heading for that championship again this year. Okay. And so we'll definitely get him in the studio one of these times to talk about the season. Okay. Hopefully we'll go do some games at the end of the season too.
Sure.
During the playoffs and stuff. So
cool.
But yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, man, thank you for joining in today on the Big Voice Sports Talk Show. You're listening to 100.9 FM, the Big Voice Radio. This is DJ Coach Q and B-Luv, and we are out of here.
Laters.
Big Voice. KWTN 100.9 FM. Allen, Nebraska. The official radio station of the Winnebago.